by bread alone. Yeah, this word got food in it. Stepping on the devil dome, you should see the bruise in it. Backing out the scripts, told a demon to stand down. Go against the Most High, we gon' see how it pan out. The Father gave me hope, fill me with the ghosts. Now they hate it when I glow. Joseph with the coat, looking for their fruit, but they ain't got no cantaloupe. The Messiah or Belial, you can't be a fan of both. Can't serve two masters. Bread of heaven with the living water, yeah, serving up a truth platter. We ain't idolizing no folly, now we setting up a new standard. When Christ touched down, make the whole earth shake like Bruce Banner. Yeah, bringing them troops to ya. End times getting spookier, warfare getting nuclear, mankind getting goofier. They intoxicated with a wine, damn, she done roofied them. I'm checking every word, spirit doctrine like a proofreader. I hate these Nicolatans, hate these great Renatos, man, I hate these flipping pagans. Try to play my father and I hate these imitations. Screaming out Hosanna, we escape that simulation. Better flee to me, vote these or else that lake is where you layin'. Great is he inside of me, casting out this net like I was by the Sea of Galilee. Harvest gon' be plenty, but the laborers are few. Matthew 17 and 20, there ain't nothing we can't do. I can't be no lukewarm, fringes with the blue on. Devil wanna deal, but I told him this ain't group on. Praise to the Almighty, you know we gon' sing a new song. Hail the King of King, the Ultra Low, no Jimmy Neutron. If you keep his laws and his commands, then we can fellowship. I don't get with Pharisees and I don't rock with Hellenists. I ain't praising man, cause only Father get my reverence. I'm swimming in the word, it got me feeling like a yellowfin. Yeah, big stepper, Mr. Demon Chin Checker, tryna hear that well done, cause I feel that displeasure. Father pouring out the wrath, and he got a big measure. If it ain't about the kingdom, then I don't give a six letter. You got faith in the Messiah, you got power. I was clean up in that blood just like a shower. Isaiah 5, you were the vine that came out sour, but now we stand and giving glory in this hour. Yeah, we breaking them curses, fleeing the ways of the serpent. Follow his word and pray for discernment, cause they want us laying in hearses. We gotta rise up, raise and resurface. Choose life and stay in your purpose. The price was paid like a merchant, through Christ who came as a servant. See, the kingdom is ready to bag, but yet somehow they chasing a Birkin. After this you ain't getting a chance. While you living you can't better search him. Gotta call on his name like his urchin, never knowing that day is emerging. So repent at the weight of perversions. Judgment coming, that thing is for certain. Let's go.
Shalawam family. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all glory, and all honor to the Most High God, whose name is YAHAWAH. Of course, I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahawashi, who the world intimately calls Jesus Christ. It's your brother Yasharahla, and about to be joined by my esteemed colleagues here. We got Yasharahla and Yasharahla. Yeah. All praise.
Shalom.
Let's go with you, Apio.
All praise the Most High, man. We here.
Shalawam.
Shalom.
Shalom. Yasharahla. Shalom.
Sister Shelly Burke, the thawadath, YAHAWAH, for your continued support, sister. We appreciate you. So yeah, family, let's go ahead and let's share the video, right? Let's dive into a multiplicity of topics today. As you guys can see here from the thumbnail. Are we in the last days? Are we really in the last days? We see the young brother to the left. This is a rapper here out of Philly by the name of LGP, right? Bro was cold with it, man. Super cold with it. The brother, got murdered here in Philadelphia this past week, and man, it's such a terrible situation. And then, of course, we got the brother Tory Lanez got stabbed up 14 times in federal prison. By another fellow Israelite, a so-called Mexican brother who was serving, a life sentence. And there's just a lot of stuff going on with the just surrounding the brother Tory's case and whatnot. So, we're going to dive into these topics, and as well as dive into some current events. And we're going to dive into the scriptures, of course, to answer the question: are we really in the last days? All right. Before we start diving into the topics, we can over that for a quick Q&A real quick. But before we do that, let's get a couple plugs in real quick. So we are simulcasting from my channel as well as the House of Bread channel. All right. So family, please subscribe to the House of Bread. Right. If you're not subscribed to the House of Bread, right, you can minimize the window if you're watching on your phone. Okay. If you're on your computer, you can open a new tab. Right. Go to House of Bread and subscribe to the channel. Right. Subscribe to the channel. Actually, give me a second. Let's be on the lookout for some questions in the chat real quick, family. LaYAHAWAH and Romeo. So let's see where we at. All right, boom. So first, I want to make sure that brothers and sisters, are supporting our sister Masala, the wife of so-called chief priest Alazar, aka the Gorilla Shebrew, aka Peggy Sue, aka Chief Queef. The man has not sent a single dime for his two young children, and since February 26th, so approaching 3 months. Imagine that. Not sending your children any money to support your children. in 3 months. So link should be in the description of the video, right? For the sisters GoFundMe. So please, family, donate and help the sister and Alazar's children out. So definitely plug in here. Again, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the House of Bread YouTube channel, right? At House of Bread Camp here on YouTube, right? We should be able to get to at least 400 subscribers by the end of the night, right? So subscribe, right? In addition to that, make sure you guys get your copy of the Hebrew Israelite Bible, right? Got a brand new cover, right? Just got mine not too long ago, right? Got a couple other old copies as well with the old cover. If you got the old copy, I'm gonna put you on mute, my gosh, you got a little echo. Just get a black Sharpie and black out what needs to get blacked out on the cover, right? But get your copy of the HIB, the Hebrew Israelite Bible, here at HIBofficialzion.com. The link is in the description of the video as well. In addition to that, my gosh, what shirt you got on? You got an HOB shirt on right now? You're on mute. Oh, you got the HOB. All right, con. I'm gonna say your brother might have on, you know what I mean? Good old perpetualwar.shop, right? Or perpetualwar.shop, tap in with us. This is me and the brother YAHAWAH's clothing line. So tap in with us, you know what I mean? Get yourself something, it's about to be summertime, right? It's definitely t-shirt season, all right? So make sure you make your way over to perpetualwar.shop. Link is also in the description. And link is also in the chat. All right. So what should we dive into first, man? What should we dive into first? Oops. There we go. Lord in Christ. There we go. What should we dive into first, man? Let's open it for questions. Any questions in the chat? Any questions in the chat? No questions. Watch when we start diving into stuff. He's gonna start asking questions that have nothing to do with the topic. Without fail. Without fail. Come on, family. It's time for questions.
Every time.
Every single time, man. You gotta love it.
Try to grab some of my shirts real quick.
All right, so
am I still echoing?
You should be fine now. Brother Judah Auto Sales, how to contact you? You can email me, or if you follow me on IG, DM me on IG with my email. Put it right here in the chat. Actually, I'll also show it here on the screen. So yeah, you can email me here at ariella.bonnie@yahawah@gmail.com. All right. Email is in the chat. Oh, I would be remiss. I forgot to also mention. Actually, let me grab it real quick. Give me a second. I gotta go on there. Check this out. Yeah, if you are interested in joining House of Bread, right now we are wrapping up our prospect process. And we should, Lord willing, be done by the end of the month. So there is an intake form, a prospect intake form that brothers can fill out so they can get in contact with you to let you know once everything is up and running. All right, so copy this. So link right here, link in the chat, right? If you want to join House of Bread, okay, make sure you fill out this intake form, right? This intake form, I'm gonna pin this as well to the chat. And then if you are a sister looking for a home, a body to be part of, right, you can join the House of Bread Sisterhood. That link is also being dropped here in the chat as well. Okay, so it should both be pinned. All right, let me see. The brother two Funkalicious, oh, I'm not sure if it's a sister. So will the HIB audio return and updated? Lord willing soon. Actually, I got an email from Google the other day, and actually, I just haven't had the time to sit back and respond to them because dealing with Google is a pain in the butt. But when my channel got clipped, I lost access to the original channel, and I was fighting to get access to that channel that was not clipped. And of course, YouTube giving me a hard time. But I got an email from them not too long ago, asking if I had any more questions or if this was resolved. So Lord willing, I'll be able to get access to that channel again and just start uploading stuff again to it. Right now I'm trying to actually make it available so that you can listen to it like a track by track on different platforms. It's probably going to be on this platform called even.biz. So I'm working on that, family, but stay tuned. Let's see what else. What other questions you got? It says the chapter about Gog and Magog, that the Most High will put hooks in thy jaws. Are we in those times now? And the stars have fallen. Is that referring to people like Diddy? Great question, Brother Brown, Hornet. Right. So let's dive into that. Right. Let's get the book of Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. Let me get my screen ready.
I got it.
You got it, Khan.
Yeah. Start from the top.
Yeah.
And this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38 and verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against God, the land of Magog, the chief priest of the slaughter, the chief prince of Meshach and Tabal, and prophesy against him.
All right, so we have the prophet Ezekiel, right? He's being told by the Most High God to set his face against Gog, right? Gog in the Hebrew, right? Of the land of Magog, right? The chief prince of Meshach, right? So when we look at, let's see, Ivan the Fourth. Watch this, right? So Ivan the Terrible, also known as Ivan the Fourth. I've gone into this before. This is not Ivan the Fourth, right? Ivan the Terrible, right? That's not him at all, right? No, that's not him at all, right? So Ivan the Fourth was not a white man, right? Actually, when we look at this guy, right, and I'll show you why I'm bringing this up in just a second, right? When we look at this gentleman here, Ivan the Fourth. Okay, so real quick, right? So you see this guy right here, Fedor the First of Russia. If I'm not mistaken, he is the son, right? Yes, he is the son of Ivan the Fourth, right? And look at this picture of this guy, right? This clearly looks like a white man, right? But when we look at this image right here, This is an image of Ivan IV's son. So that's a black man, right? When we look at the word czar, right? I see a Hebrew connection to it, right? Czar, right? I think about the word tazar, which means stone or rock, right? I'll have to do some diving into the etymology of the Russian word czar, right? But when we look at this man, Ivan IV, right? This is the pitch. This is right here is a portrait by Victor Mikhailovich Vestinovtsov. I'll probably butcher that, right? But we look here. This is Ivan IV icon from the late 16th century. Now, these assholes have it in black and white, but clearly this is a so-called black man, right? When we look at this video right here we have him. This is a so-called black man, right? Now, when we look at Ivan IV, right, it says Ivan was the son of Grand Prince Vasily III of Moscow and his second wife, Yelena Glinskaya, right? Vasily III, right? Obviously, if he looked like that, this is not his fault, all right? Not his daddy, right? We don't have any icons of that gentleman, right? But he's called the Grand Prince, right? And this guy is actually the first czar, right, of Russia. So when we look at what makes up Russia today, it was known as Kiev and Rus, right? Kiev and Rus, right? How does that have significance? You know, we had the war in Ukraine going on, right? Kiev versus Moscow, okay? And I love the fact that this brother asked this question because it ties in beautifully with the topic today, right? In the last days, right? So, and we'll get into the stars falling as well, right? Of course, we see guys like Diddy, you know what I mean? He's falling, but when we look into the scriptures that speak about the stars falling, it's not talking about niggas like Diddy. It's talking about niggas in the Israelite community, right? But anyway, so when we look at the political landscape of Russia, right, and we'll tie back into the significance here in Ezekiel 38. So it says the chief prince, right? His title was Grand Prince. Now, when we look at the word Meshach, right, or Mashach, right, this is the ancient name for the city of Moscow, right? And what was Ivan IV? He was the Grand Prince or the chief prince of Moscow, okay? Let's see. His mother ruled in Ivan's name until her death. Okay, boom. Allegedly by poison. All right, the deaths of both Ivan's parents served to reanimate the struggle of various factions of nobles for control of the person of the young prince, right? So he was young and for power. The years 1538 to 47 were thus a period of murderous strife among the clans of the warrior caste commonly known as the boyars, right? So when we look at, you know, Ivan IV, Lord in Christ, these ads, they're killing me here, right? It says on January 16, 1547, Ivan was crowned Tsar, right? Right, so Tsar, right? Think about the Hebrew character Tzah, right? Or even as our small hat friends would say, they'll call it the Sadi, right? Sadi, right? So he was crowned Tsar and Grand Prince of all of Russia. Why? Because you had different city-states. You had Moscow, you had St. Petersburg, right? You had all these different cities. And he conquered, right, and became the Tsar and Grand Prince of all of Russia, right? So when we look here at this prophecy, right, the Most High God, his word is amazing, right? So the word of Yahawaah came unto Ezekiel, right? saying, Son of Man, set thy face against Gog, right? So this is the individual, right? It's a specific individual who will become a prince of Meshech, right? The chief prince of Meshech. Who's the chief prince of Meshech right now? Who's the ruler out of Moscow right now? It's none other than Vladimir Putin, right? Says the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal and prophesy against him. So this is a prophecy against a future ruler of Russia. Okay, let's read on.
Verse 3. Sorry. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, and verse 3. And say, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Verse 4. I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws.
And put what?
And put hooks in thy jaws.
Put hooks in your jaws. So, right, when I went fishing last week, right, and didn't catch anything, but the person I went fishing with, he caught something, right? And when you go fishing, right, you throw out a hook, right, you put bait on that hook, right, and a fish is going to bite on that hook, and it's going to be caught what? In his jaws, right? And that's how the fish gets reeled in. So the Most High God's going fishing, right? He's going to put hooks into the jaws of this ruler of Moscow, right? Read on.
Put hooks in thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thy armies, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords.
And all of them handling swords, right? So the Most High God is using, right, this chief prince of Meshech, right, this ruler out of Russia, right, putting hooks into his jaws, right, so that he can do the Most High God's purpose, so that he can bring all of his armies, right, bring all of them having all types of weaponry, right, and we're going to see here that it's not just his army, but this armies of other places, right? Now, we're going to dive into some more symbolism here in a bit, right? Well, let's keep reading. Verse 5.
Verse 5. Verse 5.
Persia.
Salakia. Persia, Ethiopia, Lebanon, and them of all them with shields and helmet.
So now we have Persia, right? Paras, right? Now, what is the modern state that refers to Persia? Let me see who's been paying attention in the chat, right? In the chat, who is Persia today? Shout out to the brother Malak Eleazar, right? Persia, Iran is Persia. So Iran changed its name to Iran from Persia, I believe, in like the 1940s with the Iran. When did Iran change its name from Persia? Iran formally changed its name from Persia to Iran in 1935. This shift was initiated by Reza Shah Pahlavi, the king of Persia at the time, during the Nowruz, or Persian New Year, gathering. He requested that foreign delegates use the term Iran in official correspondence. This change aimed to align with the country's historical self-designation and distance itself from the Western term Persia, right? Okay, sure, whatever, guy, right? So we're talking about Iran. Now, Iran and Russia relations. Iran and Russia's relationships have been evolving, characterized by both historical mistrust and increasingly close ties, particularly since the start of the Russian-Ukrainian war. While they have a history of competition and suspicion, their alliance has deepened, driven by shared interest in countering Western influence, particularly in the context of sanctions and military conflicts like those in Syria. This includes military cooperation, economic partnership, and even joint efforts to bypass Western sanctions, right? So let's look at Russia and Iran, right? Russia and all right, Russians can use mirror cards for payments in Iran, right? 3 days ago. Iran to send Russia launchers for short-range missiles, sources say. 6 days ago from Reuters. Al Jazeera, Iran to sign $4 billion oil fields deal with Russia in bid to bolster ties, right? You would have thought someone wrote about this thousands of years ago. Oh, but wait, they did, right? The Israelites, the Most High God's word came unto the prophet Ezekiel and told us that the leader of Russia, the chief prince of Moscow, right, he would be used to bring forth armies, right, including who? Persia, right, which is Iran, right? Let's look. So we see the next one there is Ethiopia, right? Ethiopia and Russia. If I'm not mistaken, Ethiopia and Russia signed 3-year nuclear cooperation roadmap. Wow, this right here is okay. So let's look at this, right? Ethiopia and Russia signed 3-year nuclear cooperation roadmap. Okay, cool. So Ethiopia and Russia have signed a 3-year roadmap to strengthen cooperation in nuclear technology, according to the Ethiopian Ministry of Innovation and Technology. The signing took place during a high-level forum in Addis Ababa, which is, if I'm not mistaken, the capital of Ethiopia, attended by the Ethiopian Minister in the Innovation and Technology, Dr. Belet Molo, and the Russia's Minister for Economic Development, Maxim Resnickov, right? The new roadmap builds for an agreement reached in 2023 on the sidelines of the Russia-Africa Economic and Humanitarian Forum in St. Petersburg. The previous agreement covered exploring the development of an NPP. I'm not sure what that means. Let's look up NPP. New Patriotic Party. All right. And establishing a center for nuclear science and technology in Ethiopia. That agreement also envisaged developing Ethiopia's nuclear infrastructure, organizing technical visits and training, and strengthening local expertise in atomic science, right? And so now I'm sure on the surface, this is being, positioned and labeled as, nuclear for energy, I'm sure, but just you wait. It's going to become, it's going to be used for militaristic purposes. And if anyone's been paying attention to politics out in Ethiopia, right? Ethiopia has been being aggressive, and there might be some war between Ethiopia and, if I'm not mistaken, Eritrea or Somalia, one of the two. Okay. So, wow, look at this. Russia agrees to help landlocked Ethiopia rebuild its navy. How can a country that is landlocked have a navy? Because Ethiopia is very close to invading either Somalia or Eritrea. Right? Actually, let me see. Ethiopia and Somalia. So, boom. Ethiopian PM visits Somalia as neighbors try to improve relations. Ethiopia-Somali tension dispute resolved according to the Somali foreign minister. Right? So there's been some disputes between the two, right? Somalia's strategic counterbalance to Ethiopia influence in the Horn of Africa, right? So there's all this geopolitical stuff that's going on a regional base, on a regional level, on a global level, on an inter-regional level, right? And we have to measure the time diligently himself and pay attention to the signs of the time and see what's been going on, right? So boom. Let's go back here. Russia agrees to help landlocked Ethiopia rebuild its navy. With the ongoing push for Ethiopia's seaport access, the country is also advancing in the reorganization of its navy. On Friday, the Russian Navy delegation, led by the Deputy Commander-in-Chief Admiral Vladimir Vorobayev, visited Ethiopian Navy facilities and training center in Bishoftu town, around 30 miles from Addis Ababa. During the visit, the two sides signed a cooperation agreement on training and capacity building. Russia has pledged to work with Ethiopia in its efforts to modernize its navy. Following its initial visit back in 2022, with a cooperation agreement now in place, both sides will continue to work together to strengthen the naval rebuilding that Ethiopian Navy has begun, and to further strengthen its readiness to protect Ethiopia's interests in the international waters, said Deputy Commander-in-Chief of the Operations in Ethiopian Navy, Commodore Jamal Tufiso, right? It says, while Ethiopia's navy was originally founded in the 1950s, it has been dissolved following Eritrea's independence in 1993. So it's, let me see, Ethiopia and Eritrea. Back from the brink, how European support could prevent another Eritrean war, right? So Ethiopia is on this Ethiopia and Eritrea are this close to going to war. Right now we see, right, we got Kush fighting Kush, right? Potentially, right? They've already been fighting for years. They've had several wars, right? You got right now in India, Pakistan, they're beefing, they're fighting, they're launching missiles at each other, and that's what they're threatening to launch nukes. We got Elon versus Elon. Ramya, get for me Yahawashi says Satan divided against itself. Wow, shot. Can Satan cast out Satan? Matthew 12.
This 12, yeah.
Sorry, verse 25.
And this is the book of Matthew, chapter 12, and verse 25. And Yahawashi knew their thoughts, and he said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself.
Every kingdom what?
Divided against itself.
Every kingdom divided against itself. Now, obviously, Ethiopia and Eritrea are two different kingdoms. India and Pakistan are two different kingdoms, right? But they're the same nation of people, right? They're the same people, right? And every kingdom divided against itself, right? Read on.
Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation.
So what?
Is brought to desolation.
Brought to desolation, read.
In every city or house.
Every city or house. Read.
Right. Divided against itself shall not stand.
Shall not stand. So now let's take a look at the nation, the house of Israel, right? Talking about us as a people, right? Not talking about the specific camp. We were divided, northern and southern kingdom. What happened to both of us? We both went into captivity, right? When we had the house of Judah in the land during the time of course, the Greeks, and subsequently the Romans, right? We were divided. We had the Essenes, you had the Pharisees, you had the Sadducees, you had various Zealot groups. We were divided, and guess what? We didn't stand. We came to desolation, right? So Yahawashi, because the Pharisees are they're just assholes, man. They were getting cut up by Yahawashi left and right. They were saying that he was doing all of his miracles by the power of Beelzebub, right? The prince of the devils, right? A demon, right? And Yahawashi is about to cut these niggas, right? He's saying, listen, every kingdom, every house, every city that's divided against itself cannot stand, right? Read on.
Verse 26. And if Satan cast out Satan, how is he? He is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand?
How shall then his kingdom stand? So when we look at Satan, right, the word Satan, Shaitan in the Hebrew, it means adversary or accuser, right? Our adversary, our chief adversary, the Edomites, who we know as so-called clear people, okay? They're divided, right? America's divided, right? Western Europeans, you know, of course, with America, they're divided from what? Eastern Europeans, right? Satan's divided against himself, so guess what? Satan cannot stand, right? Read on.
Verse 27. And if I, by Beelzebub, cast out devils, by whom do your children cast them out? Therefore, they shall be your judges.
Read on.
Verse 27. But if I cast out devils by the Spirit of God, then the kingdom of God is come unto you.
So the kingdom of God is coming unto you, right? So he's saying, listen, if I'm doing this by devils, right? Then the kingdom, Satan's house cannot stand, right? But I'm doing this by the power of God, right? And you niggas not paying attention. You don't know what's going on because y'all niggas are stupid, right? Y'all don't even believe on the nigga that y'all claim to believe on, right? Talking about Moses and his words, right? So again, looking here at Eritrea and in Ethiopia, and even if you get Somalia or Djibouti in the mix, these are all Cushites. These are all light bulb, cranium, big forehead. Same people. Same people. But guess what? Listen, Terrence, that's my brother, a warrior. Listen, them Cushites, man, especially the Somalis, they cannot stand us. All right, give me a second. I'll be right back, y'all.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm lagging. I'm about to go out and come back in.
And to land back off a broke point, right? And talking about looking at the signs. It sounds like I'm lagging now, right? To talk about the signs, right? This is what we're supposed to end up, right? We're supposed to end up watching for the signs. I'm gonna go on to Matthew. This Matthew 16. I'm gonna start at 1. The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempting, desiring him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said unto them, when it is evening, ye say, it would be fair weather, for the sky is red. Verse 3. And in the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red, right? And lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? And so this is something that our people do so heavy on, right? We get so captivated in these stars and celebrities, and then they life, right? Real Housewives of Atlanta and all this and that, right? And we don't even know what's actually going on in the world, right? But a lot of times these celebrity lives is not real. Like a lot of times what they putting out there for y'all to watch and to consume is not actually their lives, right? So we need to, especially those in the Israelite community, we need to, it's cool to watch these movies, just watch Sinner, right? Probably do a review on it. It's cool to watch these movies and these shows. I'm not saying that it's wrong, but at the end of the day, right, us being Israelites, we need to stay tapped in to these signs, right, and to see what's going on. That's really what we have to do. Right. Hold on now. Kind of tapping the more signs while brothers, fixing things and getting stuff done. Tapping to some more signs. This a classic. This is Matthew 24, right? Matthew 24. I'm gonna just go into it. Matthew 24:1. And Yahawashi went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Yahawashi said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Verse 3, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world, right? So the end of this world as we know it to be, right? Joking with some people at work, just joking with them. I'm just saying, like, I wonder how, especially the new generation and a lot of society will cope with if they didn't have social media or the internet, right? Sis at the job, she said, now, like, she'd probably say she was joking, but I think it was truth. But she was saying it ain't gonna be no point of living if there's no internet. So this is a lot of what this generation and this society, right, live on, right? We're not really basing, right, living off of prophecy. We living off of thus say of social media, right? Thus say of my celebrity, right? We gotta go according to thus say of the Lord, right? Shalom. I see y'all back.
All praises. So, yeah, man. Listen, man. Right now, we are in perilous times, as the scriptures say. Malak Elias, I made a point, says that, yeah, before the Civil War, they had access to the sea, right? So now they don't have access to the sea, right? Which is a problem, and especially because Ethiopia, they are the largest exporters in the Horn of Africa, right? So right now, because they don't have access to the sea, right? They have agreements with Somalia to use railroads to transport their goods across Somalia, if I'm not mistaken, to the sea, right? But there's a lot of tensions brewing, all right, amongst the sons of Cush, right, over there in the Horn of Africa. So we gotta pay attention to all these regional and interregional wars. Okay, so let's get back here into Ezekiel 38, right? So we got Ethiopia, Persia, Libya, right? With them, all of them with shields and helmets, right? Read on, Yeremia.
Kind of verse 6. Gomar and all his bands.
All his bands. So it's talking about warfare, right? We're gonna go into to Gomer in a second. Read on.
Kind the house of Togarmah and the north quarters and all his bands and many people with thee.
And many people with thee, right? Read on.
Verse 7, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company.
You and all your company, get all your company. Company of what? Of bands, right? What are bands? Armies, right? You and all your company, right? All your allies, right? This is why Russia is agreeing to help Ethiopia, right? With rebuilding their navy. What for? For war. Prepare for. So we are on the cusp of World War III, right? Which is eschatological prophecy, which means end time, right? So we are emphatically in the end days, right? Read on.
Prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee.
Mm-hmm.
And be thou a guard unto them.
Be a what?
And be thou a guard unto them.
Be a guard unto them. So right now, there's tensions between the state of Israel, right, in Iran, right? And right now, Trumpito, right, Agent Orange, he does not want to go to war with Iran, right? But the war hawks here in the US, they vehemently want to go to war with Iran, right? They want to, right? Because war is what? Big business, right? The good brother Hassad, would always bring out this point that, the last time our national debt and our economy was this bad, right? When we look at historically here in the U.S., we always go into a world war, World War I, World War II, and right now the stage is set for World War III, right? Listen, a world war has to be had, right? So that the people who are in power can make millions and billions and billions of dollars, right? Because Esau is insatiable, as the scriptures say, right? So let's just go into Gomar real quick. So Gomar, right? It says the progenitor of the earliest Sumerians. Let's take a look at what this is. All right, so Gomer, northern people sprung from Japheth, Armenians. It says Sumeri, right? So let's look at what this region is, right? Sumerian Sea. So let's take a look here, right? All right, let's take a look. Oh, so this would be, where would this be? So you got the Sumerians, right? So there's this region. So this right here is Turkey, obviously, right? What would this be? Give me a second. I'm failing at my geography. Turkey, yeah, right? So the maps. All right. So we got Georgia, right? Georgia, Armenia, right? And what's right above it? That's the Ukraine. All right, this is Russia, right? So this is the region of Georgia, right? Region of Georgia. If I'm not mistaken, the Russians actually invaded a part of Georgia not too long ago, right? So let's see something, right? You have Georgia, Russia. News. To the news. Damn. It's not what I want. There we go. Boom, news. Boom. Georgia, Russia. Quasi-partnership based on elite interests. Right? Russia influences operations in Georgia. A threat.
Touched on it, but I
just
actually see.
So what now? You said what now?
Am I still lagging?
A little bit, yeah. You said we touched on it when?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, my shit lagging. Slacking.
Peace talks between Russia and so yeah, so it's peace talks between Russia and Ukraine. Oh, that has nothing to do with it. This is from Georgia today. So yeah, Georgia and Russia, they're in cahoots as well, right? So we looked at Gomer, right? That's that reason. Tagarma, right? Let's take a look at Tagarma, right? It's probably an area known as Armenia, right? So Armenia, right? We just look Armenia. Where were we? Maps. Where we at? Okay, boom. So where's Armenia? Armenia is in this region, if I'm not mistaken. Where the fuck is Armenia? Oh, here's Armenia, right? So boom, all of these countries, all right, these territories are former USSR territory, right? So now we see here that the Lord said that he's going to put hooks into the jaws of the chief prince of Meshach, right? Who today would be Vladimir Putin. Now, what we got to know about Vladimir Putin is that he's a former KGB spy. The KGB was what? Was essentially the CIA version, right? The CIA of the USSR, right? Soviet Union. So let's look at the USSR flag, right? Now, let's get Zechariah chapter 1 real quick, Yaramia, right? So this is the USSR flag, okay? There's no blue. I don't know where this blue is coming from, right? This is the USSR flag right here, okay? What do you see in here? You see a sickle or a hook, and we see a hammer, right? So let's get Zechariah chapter 1, and I think around verse 15. Yeah, you start.
Start at 15. And this is the book of Zechariah 1 and 15. And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction.
Help for our affliction, right? He was displeased with us, right? And they just took things overboard, right? Read on.
Verse 16. Therefore, thus saith Yahawah, I am returned to Jerusalem with mercies. My house shall be built in it, saith Yahawah of hosts, and a line shall be straightened forth upon Jerusalem. Verse 17. Cry yet, saying, thus saith Yahawah of hosts, my cities, though prosperity shall yet be spread abroad, and Yahawah shall yet comfort Zion, and shall yet choose Jerusalem.
So we see here the Most High God. This is a foreshadow to the future, right? After, right, we're brought back to the land of Israel, right? We are the house of the Lord shall be built in it, right? And we are our influence is going to spread to the heathen, right? This lines with Isaiah, the 2nd chapter, Malachi, was that the 4th chapter, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or is that Micah? Yeah, I think it's Micah 4, right? So this is a future prophecy, right? Read verse 18.
Zechariah 1 and 18. Then lifted up my eyes, and I saw it, and behold, 4 horns.
4 what?
4 horns.
4 horns, right? We see imagery for horns in Daniel the 7th chapter, right? These in Revelation, right? We see Revelation, and then we see also Daniel. This beast, right, which represents the Roman Empire. Of course, the Roman Empire fell and was revised, and of course, Western Europe stems out of the Roman Empire, right? And these 4 horns are 4 of the horns that are of the 10 horns, on which one sprang up, a little one with a notable horn, not a notable one. That's Daniel 8. The little one was more stout than this fellow, which represents the U.S. of A, right? So there's 4 horns that he sees, right? Read on.
Verse 19. And I said unto the angel that talked with me, what be these? And he answered me, these are the horns which have scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem.
So these 4 powers, horns represent powers or kingdoms, right? They had a hand in spreading, scattering the children of Judah, so southern kingdom, and the kingdom of Israel, northern kingdom, and Jerusalem, which is of course the capital of the entire nation, right? And these, when we actually look at Jerusalem, one of these horns, they literally had a part in giving Jerusalem in the rest of in the land to who? To the small hat, right? So these 4 horns, the U.S., France, Spain, U.S., France, Spain, and England, right? And actually Spain / Portugal, because Spain and Portugal were 1-1, right? So these are the four horns, okay? Who had the biggest hand in the transatlantic slave trade? The U.S., the British, the French, and Spain / Portugal. Right? Listen, if you really want to think about it, Spain / Portugal kicked off this transatlantic slave trade.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So these are these four horns. Okay? Read on.
Verse 19. And I said unto the angel, Salakia, no, but it's verse 20, Salakia. And Yahawah showed me 4 carpenters.
For what?
4 carpenters.
4 carpenters, right? This Hebrew word for carpenters is the Hebrew word karashim, right? 4 karashim. Read on.
Verse 21. Then said I, what come these to do? And he spoke, saying, these are the horns which have scattered Judah, so that no man did lift up his head.
Oh, he just destroyed. They just destroyed Judah so bad that Judah won't even lift their head up, right? But that's what the scriptures say in the end times, that Judah is like a couch lion, right?
Yes.
And who's going to rouse him up? We see the brother. I don't know the brother's name. The brother who, you know what I mean, his son got unalived by the police, and he unalived one of the cops. Right? He was in that courtroom, head held high. Right? Guess what? That's rousing brothers up. That's rousing Judah up. That's part of the rousing of Judah. Right? So it's clear that we're in the end times. Right? But for so long, right, we have been with our heads low. Right? You got all these sambo, tap dancing, raccoon niggas, right, who just want to invite our enemies to the damn cookout. Right now, there's a trend right now talking about, gingers are black.
Yeah.
And all the gingers like, yep, I'm black. And there was a video of a, and this is why I cannot stand these trends. There was a video. It was kind of funny though, I ain't gonna lie, but it's really not, right? He's a ginger guy. He's a TikToker. And he's like, yeah, you know, I can get down with that. And literally in the video, his smoke detector went off. And like his eyes were like, huh? Like, because niggas always got the smoke detector going off. It was kind of funny, but it's like, no, they're not black. They don't go through what we go through. Right? They have not gone through the struggle. They're not invited to the cookout. Listen, black people, stop inviting white people to the cookout.
Please.
And guess what? Stop inviting black people who are married to white people to the cookout.
That part.
Stop it. Like, no. I don't want raisins in my potato salad. Okay? I don't want whatever, Caucasian goop scoop that they did. No, I don't want none of that. No casseroles. Keep that over there. Stop inviting these people in. And this is our problem, right? We're too friendly with the enemy, right? But read on.
Middle of 21. So that no man did lift up his head, but these are come to fray them, and to cast out the horns of the Gentiles, which lifted up their horn over the land of Judah to scatter them.
So again, they lift up their power, right? The horns of the Gentiles. An animal power comes from what? Its horns. If a ram, which is a male sheep, right, uses those horns to fight, right? Same thing with a goat, right? A goat uses those horns to fight, right? It's power, source of power. So when we look here at this word for, you got kadash. Let me just to fray them, to fray. Oh wow, charad, right? Charad. All right, so it says to be afraid, tremble, fray away, to discomfort. So these 4 carpenters are coming to discomfort or make afraid or just cast out these 4 specific horns, right? Now, when we look at this word for karash, right? For carpenters, the word karash, right? And also it means workman, engraver, artificer, smith, right? So let's look at another scripture in which this is used, right? Isaiah chapter 54 and 16 says, behold, I have created the smith, the karash, right? Same word for these carpenters that blow off the coals in the fire, right? A carpenter blows coals in the fire to do what, right? A smith, it does to make weapons, right? And that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. What's a waster in modern context? Oh, nuclear missiles. So these 4 carpenters, right, are the original members of the BRICS, right, which is Brazil, Russia, India, and China, right? India is a nuclear power, China is a nuclear power, Russia is a nuclear China, Brazil is not, but guess what? That can change very, very easily because guess what? Russia ain't low. Listen, Russia going to equip these Ethiopians with nuclear missiles, nuclear submarines, right? Listen, Iran can have these talks with Trump all they want, right? And say, yeah, we won't do a nuclear program, right? We won't develop nuclear missiles, right? They could very well do that. Because guess what? If they say, yeah, we're not going to develop them, but Russia gives them to them, did they develop them? No, they didn't break the treaty. But this is how you gotta deal with.
Didn't Russia just pull up on Brazil last year?
Yeah, they were there not too long ago, right? This heavy Brazil Russia ties, right? So this is end time prophecy, guys, right? The Most High God is using these powers to destroy the Western European power structure. Now, I brought up the USSR flag, right? So we have on here a hammer. Who uses hammers? Carpenters, right? If a blacksmith, he uses that hammer to beat his sword into what? Into shape. Not only that, a carpenter, let's say you are a carpenter like Yahawashi, like Joseph was a carpenter, right? Carpenters have to do this thing called demo. You can use a sledgehammer, you can demolish a house. So a carpenter can break things down and build things up. And just so happens that one of these carpenters is Russia, right? Which is ruled by who? By the chief prince of Meshech, right? That we see here in Ezekiel 38th chapter. And it says, I'm gonna put hooks in that jaw. Oh, they happen to have a sickle, a hook on their flag. So the Most High God is pulling Vladimir Putin back into that USSR mindset. And that all started off with what? Him invading Crimea, annexing Crimea, which was part of the Ukraine. Ukraine was part of the USSR, right? And of course, they invaded Ukraine in 2022. And they've been at war ever since, right? So, listen, man. The brother asks a great question, right? This is what's going on. This is end time prophecy, right? And we are clearly in the end time. So let me get caught up here in with the chat. All praise to the Most High, right? All praise to the Most High, brother Brown Hornet. Now you asked another question originally. What was the other question? Let me see if I can find it. Someone said if someone asked something about Putin. Oh, that was you, Mike.
Yeah, somebody was thinking Putin was the chief prince.
He could be. He's looking like the guy so far. Lord willing, hopefully he is
Lord
the guy.
willing.
Because listen, they could easily get Putin up on out of here, right? Raise up someone who's like, man, because my neighbor, his name is Mike. Me and him be chopping up. We both get into the geopolitics, and he's always like, yo, like these niggas in China and Russia, they be just doing all this talking with America. Stop talking with these niggas, man. Just like I need to start coming up with some action. Iran, stop with the talk. let's talk about action. Like, didn't Donnie Boy? No, not that Donnie Boy. Didn't DJ Trump kill your top general? Like,
Right.
but you want to have peace talks with, like, but here's the thing. Here's a cold part about it. The scriptures say, when they shall say peace,
Take peace
and
and safety.
then what?
Sudden
Destruction. And I'm praying that's what's going on, because listen, I can't take another day in this bit. I'm sick of this place. Absolutely fed up and sick of this place. I'm sick of these niggas. I'm sick of these devils. Right? I'm sick of about everything. Right? Sick of everything in this place. Right? But let's see. Any more questions? Oh, about the stars falling. Okay, all praises, right? So I don't want to go to Daniel. Let's go to Matthew chapter 24. And again, this brings us into what? Are we in the end times?
Right.
So let's start at so boom. Let's look at it, right. We see here signs of Christ's return, right? You know what I mean? We see that there will be wars and rumors of wars. Right here we are, right? And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So right now we've been war after war after war, right? America's been at war my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
There has not been a single year that America has not been involved in some military conflict. My entire life. Okay? Wars and rumors of wars, be not troubled, right? And it says, and nation shall rise against nation, right? This word for nation is the Greek word ethnos, which means ethnicities, races, race wars, right? And kingdom against kingdom. That's what we're seeing. Russia versus Ukraine, kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. There was just a crazy earthquake not too long ago, somewhere random, right? There are tens to hundreds of earthquakes on a daily basis here on this earth, right? So it's clear we're in the end days, right? Pestilences. We just had that thing, right? That happened around 2020, right? They shut the whole world down because of it, because of this pestilence. And now they're talking about the measles and this. Listen, there's about to be another pandemic. Just wait for it. These people had the same trick. They want you funny. When you're wise, when you know what's going on, when you actually keep the commandments of God. Like, all these things are the beginning of sorrows, right? So let's jump down, and then we see the perilous times, right? Verse 15 says, when you therefore shall see the abomination and desolation spoken about by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand, right? So, right, Jerusalem being destroyed, right? The temple being destroyed, that's the abomination and desolation, right? And now we keep on going, like in the winter, right? Because again, 70 AD can't happen, right? Boom, niggas had to flee, right? So boom, we're gonna jump down to, we got all this tribulation, right? It says glorious return, right? So read from verse 29 now.
Matthew 24 and verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened.
Mm-hmm.
Shall the sun be darkened?
Shall the sun be darkened? Right? Hold that, my gosh. Amos the 8th chapter. Amos 8. This all ties in. Ooh, through the spirit. Great question, brother. Right? Great question, right? And I've been meaning to do a breakdown on Amos 8. Because someone who shall remain nameless, right, said that Amos, the fulfillment of the word happened already. Hey, listen, there have been various famines of the word, right? But we look at Amos 8, there are key things in Amos 8 that a nigga has to show me historically documented that this happened, right? So let's go to Amos 8 and All right, so the context is right. Amos is showing a basket of summer fruit, right? And the reason why is because the end is come upon my people of Israel, right? So the Most High God is assisting the house of Israel. The Most High God is cleaning house, and that's what we see going on even in this community, right? Because the leaders of the community are causing the poor of the land to fail, right? As we see right here, boom, verse 4. Hear this, O ye that swallow up the needy, even to make the poor of the land to fail, right? So let's talk about the rulers, the leaders of Israel, right? So start. What you saying? We'll start. Start at verse 7.
Yeah, 7. Right, verse 7. This is Amos 8, verse 7. The Lord hath sworn by the excellency of Jacob. Surely I will never forget any of their works.
I will what?
Never forget any of their works.
So let's slow down, right? So now, he's talking about someone specifically, right? So now, when we go to Jeremiah 31, and I think it was around verse 33, I don't remember. Boom. No, that's not what I want.
What, the covenant?
Right, verse 34, right? So it says, so talking about the new covenant, it says, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, right? For they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith Yahawah. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more, right? But here Yahawah is saying that, oh, I will never forget their iniquity. Who is he talking about, right? He's talking about some of the leaders of the Israelites. The Lord's not going to forgive some of these niggas, right? So when niggas are mad at me, talking like, oh, bro, you can't be saying that. Oh, grace and mercy, blah, 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 blah. Nigga, I read the Bible, unlike you niggas. And I believe in Yahweh's word. Thus saith the Lord. He's never going to forgive certain people's iniquity. Right? Read on.
Verse 8. Shall not the land tremble for this, and everyone mourn that dwelleth therein? And it shall rise up wholly as a flood, and it shall be cast out and drowned, as by the flood of Egypt.
So imagine, right? When we came out of Egypt, the Most High used Moses to split the Red Sea, an entire sea. Huge walls of waves, probably hundreds of feet high. Right? We walk dry shod through the wet sand. I was talking to Benji earlier today. We went bike riding, right? And he was like, yo, like, do you know how long it takes for sand to dry? I was like, oh, snap. That just puts things into a whole new perspective. The Most High God's power is so immense, right? So, we talk about the flood, right? Imagine if those waves crashed in on us and drowned us. That's what happened to the Egyptians. The Most High, this is how the Most High God is going to destroy the leaders, the rulers, the people who make the poor of the land to fail, right? The ones who swallow up the needy, right? Who say, when shall the new moon be gone that we may sell corn? And when shall the Sabbath be gone that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great, falsifying the balances by deceit? When we look at Proverbs 11:1, which says, a just weight is God's delight, right? But a false balance is an abomination to the Lord. This is what this is talking about. That's what it's talking about specifically, right? So when we're at verse 9, let's read.
Verse 9. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord Yahawah, that I will cause the sun to go down at noon.
I will do what?
And cause the sun to go down at noon.
So I need someone to tell me when this happened in history. When the sun set at noon. You don't think that there will be various people groups that recorded the fact that, oh, snap, the sun set in the middle of the day? Imagine what kind of, you have no clue what that looks like.
Right.
Imagine you just driving on the highway and the sun sets at noonday and the earth is plunged into gross darkness. I need a nigga just told me when that happened. Most I got said that's going to happen, right? Read on.
Khan, and I will darken the earth in clear day.
I will darken the earth in the clear day. So now when we go back here to Matthew 24, right? Read that part again, Yeremia. Verse 29. And the sun shall be darkened.
Verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened,
Mm-hmm.
and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven,
and the stars shall fall from heaven. Read on.
and the powers of the heavens shall be shooken.
And the powers of the heavens shall be shaken, right? So now we got this phrase, as above, so below, right? There's also, Yahawashi told Peter that what you bind on earth, what you bind in heaven shall be bound on earth, right? Again, meaning that the spiritual realm, what happens in the spiritual realm has an effect on what happens in the natural, the spiritual realm versus the physical realm, right? So, for instance, when we look at the prophet John seeing this dragon fighting with Michael, right? He's seeing that in the spiritual realm, right? Michael is the chief prince. Is going to Daniel 12. Ooh, we cooking through the spirit tonight, man. Let me tell you. Daniel 12 on the top.
Khan.
And it's the book of Daniel, chapter 12 and verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people.
Does what?
The great prince that standeth for the children of thy people.
Of thy people, right? So when we go to Revelation chapter 12, right? What specific verse, right? So there appeared another wonder in heaven, right? In the spiritual realm. Great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head, right? Drew down verse 4 says, it says, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven. Who are the stars of heaven? Us, the Israelites, right? And it says, and they cast them to the earth out of power, right? And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered into for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Talking about Yahawashi, right? He's that man child, and of course a client of the Roman Empire, Herod the Great, who's an Edomite, their Edomitic brother, right? What did he want to do? He wanted to kill Yahawashi so that he can stay in power, right? Verse 7, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels, because Michael is a chief prince, right? When we look here, right? Michael, who's the chief great prince, right? Now, when we go to 2 chapters prior, right? So 2 chapters prior, boom. Oh, damn, tripping. 2 chapters prior, right? Find Michael. All right, boom. So Daniel 10 and 12. It says, then said he unto me, fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that thou did set thine heart to understand and hast chastened thyself before thy God, thy words were heard, and I am come for thy words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia. So now, someone once said that, oh, this prince is the actual ruler of Persia. No, it's not, dummy. The ruler of Persia, he's called a king, Malak, right? And the Persians had different titles, right? This title right here is the word Shar, right? it goes back to the Hebrew word sharar, which means to prevail. So when Jacob wrestled with an angel, angels are called shariam, right? When he wrestled with that angel, the angel said, because thou hast prevailed, sharar, with God, angels are called God, and with man, therefore he called his name Yasharahla, right? And when we look at this word shar, right? Let's go to a book of Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy. Right? So again, you say, so I took the chief of your tribes, wise men, and known, and make them heads over you, captains, that word is shar, over 1,000, and captains over hundreds, and captains over 50s, and captains over 10s, and officers among your tribes. So guess what? That's why here at House of Bread, our title, the leadership here at House of Bread, our title is shar, right? So just to give a little context. So boom, now as above, so below, right? So above, Michael, whose name is YAHAWAH, which means who is like God, right? He is a prince, right? He is the chief prince. So verse 13 says, the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 140 days or 20 days. So they were fighting. But lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, right? Shar-Ra'ash, right? Ra'ashwan, right? Shar-Ra'ashwan, right? It says, came to help me, and I remained there with the kings, with the what? With the kings of Persia. Let's look at this word for kings. Malak, the kings of Persia. So the kings of Persia and the prince over the kingdom of Persia are two different things. Right? It says, now I'm come to make thee understand what shall befall thy people in the latter days, for yet the vision is for many days, right? And we know days also represent years. So now when we go 2 chapters later, right, in Daniel 12, it says, bring it out, whoever got it.
What, Daniel 12, right?
You got it.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, Daniel 12. I'm gonna start from the top again. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince was standing for the children of thy people, and the stand for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble.
A what?
And there shall be a time of trouble.
There shall be a time of trouble. Did we not just read here in Matthew 24? And Yahawashi mentioned Daniel in Matthew 24. Like, guys, the prophets all saw the same things, right? And just in different ways, especially the great prophets, right? So it says immediately after the tribulation of those days, right? Putting things into context, right? So there shall be a time of trouble. Read on.
There shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered. Every one that shall be found written in the book.
Everyone that shall be written in the book, right? Pray the Most High God scribble my name in the book, right? You all should be praying to the Most High God scribble your name in the book, right? If your name not in the book, your name not in the book. Just like when you go to the club.
Yeah.
Your name ain't on that guest list. You ain't getting in.
You ain't make the list.
You ain't make the list. And guess what? A lot of the niggas in Israel, a lot of your favorite leaders and teachers, these niggas ain't making the list. Niggas ain't gonna make the cut. Nigga, listen, I was about to make a post today on Facebook. I didn't get a chance because I was ripping and running with work and whatnot. But I was gonna say something along the lines of, listen, it's the sad truth is many of your favorite teachers and leaders are laboring in vain. Because guess what? Yahawashi said, depart from me, ye that work iniquity. I never knew you. Nigga, you're not on the list. The fuck? You're not written in the book. Right? And again, Yahweh said, I will never forget their works. Why? Because a lot of these niggas are evil. Right? Workers of iniquity. And this is why I gotta do that lesson on sin versus iniquity. Right? It's levels, right? So it'll be a short, brief lesson, right? Just to dive into the difference between sin/transgression and iniquity. Okay. So let's keep reading.
Time shall be found written in the book. Verse 2. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth.
Many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth, right? That are dead. Shall what?
Shall awake. Some to everlasting life. And some to shame and everlasting contempt.
So now, an individual, a baser sort, right? One of the worst niggas to ever enter into the Hebrew Israelite community, right? He once said that this last part right here is not talking about Israelites. No, it is talking about Israelites. It's talking about Israelites like that nigga, right? Because what sense would that make, right? Your people shall be delivered. Everyone that shall be written, found in the book. Many of them. Who's the them? The people.
All right.
That sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. So again, this ties back with what the Most High God said in Amos chapter 8, all right, in verse 7. Surely I will never forget any of their works. You think the Most High God is going to forget a nigga, right, slaughtering lambs in his name after purchasing a peg kit? After subjecting sisters to cuckoldery? After actually having that peg kit used on him? You think the Lord's going to forget that? What are you talking about? But you know, I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy for pointing it out. It's amazing. The Israelites never cease to amaze me. Right? Read on.
God. It's one in Revelation, ain't it? About many rising from the dust. What, ain't it 20 or something like that?
Possibly. But I know John 5 talks about this will be a resurrection unto life to them who have done good, and a resurrection unto damnation to them that have done evil. Right?
Yeah, it's something like that. Verse 3. And they which be wise.
What?
And they which be wise.
Let's stop right there, right? Chat, right? Brothers and sisters in the chat. What is the standard of our wisdom? I'm looking for one word. What is the standard of our wisdom?
Command.
Oh my gosh.
No. Slogging.
Who's paying attention?
Yasharahla, where y'all at?
Nope, not. Fear ties into it. What's the standard of our wisdom? That's not the one word. Starts with, in English, starts with an L. In Hebrew, starts with a T. Or th.
Come on, Yasharahla.
Come on, y'all. Like, what? It's the Torah, the law. The law is our wisdom. The law is our wisdom and our understanding in the sight of the nation, right? Proverbs 8:1 says, wisdom maketh a man's face to shine. When Moses came down off that mountain, guess what? He had to have a veil on his face. Why? Because he was just shining. His face was just gleaming. Right?
I got precept.
Look it out.
Deuteronomy 4, 5, and 6. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land, whether ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations.
This is your wisdom and understanding in the sight of the nation. So them that be wise, they that be wise shall what? Daniel 12.
I was on mute. And them that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament.
shall shine as the what?
As the brightness of the firmament.
The brightness of the firmament. What's in the firmament, guys? The sun, the moon, and the stars, right? Yahawashi says, immediately after the tribulation of those days, shall the sun be darkened. That lines with Amos, the 8th chapter. The moon shall not give her light, and the stars of the heavens, right? It says, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken, right? So the powers that are above have an influence on what's going on in the earth, right? And this is why a lot of these niggas got legions of demons on them. You have to have a legion of demons on you to have a fetish of the black woman being dominated by who you teach is the devil. And then for those black women to dominate you and for you to, engage in the shit that you engaged in. Like, you have to have a legion of demons on you, right? So when we go back here to Daniel chapter 12, right? Listen, some niggas like that gonna be put in the dust, in the dirt, and they're gonna be resurrected to everlasting shame and contempt, right? But they that be wise, our wisdom is the law. Those that keep the law, right, who teach the law, right? Is it Proverbs 8 and 9 and 1? Proverbs chapter 8 and verse wisdom, face, shine. That's Ecclesiastes. No. Wisdom maketh a man's face to shine. Damn, it's in Proverbs.
Wisdom maketh a man's face to shine. Cajun.
I could have sworn Proverbs 8. I'm tripping. I hate when this happens. Wisdom maketh a man's face to shine. Ecclesiastes 8 and 1. Okay, boom. It is Ecclesiastes, right? So let's go back there. Ecclesiastes. I said Proverbs 8 and 1. Well, definitely 8 and 1, right? Wrong book by the same guy, right? So this is, of course, King Solomon. It says, who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. Right? So it says, them that be wise shall what? Shine as the brightness of the firmament, right? Read on.
So shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness.
That do what?
And they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever.
Listen, right? The brother Mayachi had on the shirt a few weeks ago, and the shirt said "Journey to the Stars," right? And I said, "Big conj, word to Daniel 12 and 3." Because guess what? What we try to do, what our goal here at the House of Bread, right, is to feed the sheep with the bread of life. Right, and the bread of life, who is Hamashiach Yahawashi, he let us know that man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of God. Right, the words that proceeded out of the mouth of God are found in the Torah and found in the words of the prophets. Right, Isaiah 8 and 20 says, to the law and to the testimony they speak not according to this word is because there's no light in them, and the law is our light. Right, so that's why it's going to make what? The faces of a wise man to shine, because the law is our light, the law is our wisdom, the law is our righteousness. Deuteronomy 6 verses 24 to 25, it says, and it shall be our righteousness if we shall do all these commandments. This is why, right, we make videos like this, right? So boom, this video right here on fringes, right, where we demonstrate and show that there are two different laws about fringes. You have zitzits or tazayatazaf, right, which are wing-like projections, and then you have tassels, gadolium, right, which are twisted tassels. Literally means to twist. You literally twist these. Like when I make these, I have to twist them. Right, these are two different laws. They're some of the least of the commandments, but Yahawashi says, if you break the least commandments and you teach men so, you shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But those that shall do and teach shall be called what? Great in the kingdom of heaven. I don't know about you niggas. I don't go out on the highways and hedges every day just because it's fun. It is fun, right? I do it because my king commanded me to, right? And he gave us the blueprint of how to obtain eternal life. He gave us the blueprint, right? He said, if you love me, feed my sheep. And I love him. He said, if you love me, keep my commandments. He said, if you break the least commandments and you teach men so, you shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. I'm sorry, my niggas. We're the least right now. We're at the bottom right now. I don't want to be a two-time loser like a lot of these niggas that have been laboring for all these years, right? For nothing. Because guess what? The Most High God's son's going to say, I never knew you, you workers of iniquity. Listen, that I don't want that to be me. So because I don't want that to be me, this is why I do what I do. Right? This is why the brothers that I labor with, this is why we do what we do, because we want that reward. Can we get where Peter asked, we forsaken all? Right? Let's get that real quick. We're forsaken all.
Speaking of rewards and stars, too, I got a precept.
Bring it out.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 2. I'm going to read 26, and then I'm going to read 28, because they're gifts for the stars, right? It says, the one who conquers.
Where you at?
You know what? What's this? The ESV. Let me get the KJV. Revelation 2, right? And start at verse 26.
Mm-hmm.
It says, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations.
Power over the nations.
Right.
Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all want power over the nations? I know I do.
Damn right.
Listen, I'm sick of these people. I want power over them. Right? It says he that overcomes, that means he that endures and keepeth my works. Does what I told him to do. Go ahead,
more. Just I was going to jump to 28, right? Because more gifts, right? And I will give him the morning star.
What?
Right? The morning star.
The morning star.
Journey to the stars.
Listen, man. Listen. Them that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament and as the stars forever and ever. Right? So as there are stars falling, there are new stars that are arising. Right? So again, going back to time Daniel 12 or Matthew the 24th chapter, Yahawashi, right? He mentions, he name drops Daniel, right? In Matthew the 24th chapter, right? Just look here. Boom. Mentions Daniel in verse 15, right? Here we are in verses 29 on to 31, right? It says that the sun's gonna be dark, and the moon shall not give its light, right? The stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken, right? So aren't the rulers of the people called Elohim, called Elohim, called the powers? Thou shalt not revile the gods, no curse the rulers of thy people. The issue is a lot of you niggas worship these niggas in the community as gods.
Mm-hmm.
That's your problem. Listen, I don't look at these niggas as nothing more than brothers. Right? Nothing more than brothers. Some who are evil. Some are evil. Right? That's what I see these niggas as. Evil brothers. Right? I still gotta love them regardless of their evilness and their iniquity and the BS that they do. Still gotta love them. Right? But that's why I don't gotta like them. And I don't have to pussyfoot around calling them out for their evil. That's what the prophets of old did.
Daniel.
Daniel did it. Jeremiah. Let me get Jeremiah. What's that? 28:8. Jeremiah 28 and 8.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 28 and verse 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries.
No, he prophesied. They prophesied for them, in favor of them.
Prophesied both against many countries.
Against many countries.
And against great kingdoms. Of war. And of evil.
And of what?
And of evil. And of pestilence.
And of pestilence. The Most High God told Ezekiel, make your forehead hard against their forehead. He said, he told Isaiah, cry aloud, spare not, let there be a voice like a trumpet. He told Ezekiel, he said, I send you to people not of a hard speech, but they're hard-headed, right? They're not going to listen to you because they don't listen to me, right? But when I say unto the wicked, you shall surely die, and you don't warn him, I'm going to require his blood at your hand. That's what I'm not going to, you niggas' blood's not going to be on my hands. I'm sorry. I'm just not, I can't stand by and just let y'all blood be on my hands. Right? I'm going to cry aloud, I'm going to spare not, lift my voice like a trumpet, and call you evil niggas in this community out. Straight like that. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Right? So going back into Daniel chapter 24, right? It says the stars shall fall from the heavens, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Right? And then he mentioned Daniel, and then Daniel is, he said when he talked about the prophet, he said, oh, well did such and such prophesy. Well did Isaiah prophesy, right? I'm pretty sure he said, well did Daniel prophesy, right? But he mentions Daniel in 24 and 15 of Matthew, right? And he says right here in verse 30, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and glory and great glory. That's what Daniel saw that. Daniel saw that in Daniel chapter 7, verse 13 to 18, right? That the Ancient of Days will be sitting on the throne. The clouds of heaven will present the Son of Man to him, right? The Ancient of Days will give him power and dominion that all people, nations, and tongues should serve him. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, right? And his kingdom shall never be destroyed. And verse 18 says that the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever and ever, even forever, right? So all of this is connected. And all of this is connected. So now, let's go back here, right? So tying this back into the lesson, right? And this all stemmed from this one brother asking, I wanted that brother still in the chat, the brother Brown Hornet, right? Great question, right? Got us into the topic through the spirit and power of Yahawashi, shanyam-ishar, right? And led us into, right, diving more into the rest of the topic, right? So boom, let's look. We look here, right? We see the brother LGP Quad, right? We see the brother Tory Lanez, right? This brother LGP Quad got murdered here in Philadelphia, in North Philly, but North with an F, right? And the brother Tory Lanez got stabbed 14 times, right? In prison, seemingly for a crime that he did not commit. Right? I actually did a video on my story the other day, diving into that topic and whatnot. We'll be uploading that on my channel within the next upcoming days, working on the thumbnail, right? But here we are in Matthew. Let's read Matthew chapter 24. And let's start at verse 9.
Matthew 24 and verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you.
So what?
And shall kill you.
Listen, I know a lot of these niggas want to kill me, especially them niggas in black. Them bitch ass niggas, them niggas want to kill me. I know it, and I don't give a fuck. Right? Some brothers want to be martyrs. It is what it is. Listen. You can't be mad because the Most High God's word already told you what would happen thousands of years ago. It comes with the territory, right? Read on.
Shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
So now notice how it said for all nations. us, right? The white man hates us. Our own people hate us, right? And even our own people in the so-called in the truth hate us. Niggas really hate us, and I love it, right? I want to make snow angels in the hate that you silly niggas just give. I just wanna wallow in it, like thank you for hating me, because when you niggas when a nigga hate you, it's because you're doing something right? It's because you're doing something that they wish they could do. Will you hate on a nigga who ain't doing shit? No. No one does that, right?
All right.
Read on.
Verse 10, and then shall many be offended,
Be what?
and many shall be offended,
Niggas are offended. Read on.
and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another.
Man, that man, Yahawashi, man. It's a guy, man. Like, listen, and the thing is, like, he lets you know that these are not my words. I'm just saying what the fuck. As I hear, I say. As I hear, I judge. Right? He's the express image of the Father, right? And we're supposed to conform to his image, right? So he just be spitting, right? One of the hottest spitters ever, right? I know that there's a crazy rap beef and battle going on right now, right? Joey Badass versus the whole entire West Coast, right? Let me tell you, listen, Joey was on that cipher with Big Sean and Absol. That joint was hot. All right, that joint was hot. You saw what now?
He just dropped another diss on somebody.
Who? Joey?
Yeah.
I just so
seen it earlier.
Early today?
Yeah.
It might have been one from yesterday. So boom, you had that cipher, right? And then Ray Vaughn dropped this song called Whole Era. Straight bop. That don't slap it, right? And then Joey spun the block, hit him with the finals.
The finals.
That Joey. Oh my God. I've never seen Joey Badass rap like that in my life, bro.
Yeah.
If I'm judging around, I got Joey up. And not just because we're from Brooklyn, right? Joey up right now. All right. My nigga Ray Vaughn, listen, let me tell you something. Ray Vaughn's album. Ray Vaughn just dropped the album. That album is, I told one of my it's a good sister, Halima. Me and her are music heads. All right, we was at the Kendrick Lamar concert last week, and I told her, I said, "Yo, sis, you gotta listen. Like, this is Ray Vaughn's Good Kid, Mad City," and she's like, "Yeah, it is." Like, so brother Ray Vaughn can rap, right? Joey can rap, right? And then so now there's a brother named Reason who used to be on TDE. He just spun on Joey, right? And then you got Daylight, whose pen is insane, right? That, of course, he has some tracks for the last few months at Joey or whatever. So listen, it's shaping up to be an amazing battle. None of these niggas got anything on Yahawashi. None of them. Just spitting, right? Read on.
Verse 11, and many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many.
Many false prophets. Many false prophets.
Bro, I had a precept for you when you were saying about being hated.
Bring it out.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 5 and 41. And they departed from the presence of the council, rejoicing. I'm gonna start at 40. And to him they agreed, and when they had called the apostles, they beaten them and commanded them that they should not speak in the name of Yahawashi, and let them go. And they departed from the presence of the council, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer shame for his name.
Amazing, right? And if I gotta suffer shame for his name, hey, so be it, right?
And I got a precept too also, right, concerning false prophets, right? Because, you know, much of the community will, you know, think being a false prophet only means, right, you know, essentially, if they give a prophecy and it doesn't come to pass, that's the only thing that qualifies them as a false prophet, right? But also, you got to put in perspective. If a man self-proclaims himself to be a prophet of Yahawah, and then he says Yahawah said, you know, he says, right, speaking on the law, right, saying, you know, when we brought out the fringes, you know, the difference between fringes, you know, he says you could do this, you could pick, you know, one or the other. Yahawah never said that.
Yeah,
and the self-proclaimed prophet, right, a self-proclaimed prophet said, you know, this was so, right? So Deuteronomy 18, it says, I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, right, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him, right? One thing, right, like I said, this, you know, some people proclaim to be prophets, right? And then they go out here and say, keep these commandments, right? And they interpolate, right? They change the commands that the Most High commanded us, right?
Yep,
verse 19. Exactly. I'm gonna just go to verse 20 anyway. But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that shall speak in the name of other gods, even that prophet shall die. Right? And like I said, we got brothers on record calling themselves prophets and then saying things are okay that Yahweh didn't, and directly concerning his laws that he commanded us.
Mm-hmm. And literally going against what the prophet who's mentioned before that, what he said. Listen, if you break the least commandment and you teach men so, you shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. Like, I don't know what else to take from that, but you know, I'm the bad guy, right? Read on in Matthew 24. You run me about Shah.
This Matthew 24 and verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
Shall what?
Shall wax cold.
Shall wax cold. So now let's get into the let's talk about the brother LGP Quad, right? Now this brother right here, man, I've been watching this brother for some years now, and the brother was talented, and he had a energy about him, right, and a pureness about him that was beautiful. I think Hayaman met him or ran into him one time or whatever, right? And I just wish that we had an opportunity to really speak to bro and like really give him the breakdown, right? Get him to understand that he's a prince of God, right? That, you know, we're the Israelites and we got to keep these laws, statutes, commandments, because the scriptures do say that the angels of the Lord encamp around about them that fear him. Right? The brother LGB Quad, I'm not sure if he was Muslim or not, because here in Philly, Islam is prevalent, right? I never really got Muslim vibes from him or anything like that. But it's sad to see that the brother, you know what I mean, got murdered, and he spoke about such positivity. I'm trying to find. I saved a bunch of IG videos over the past couple of days in anticipation of you know, getting into this, right? So boom, copy link. So boom, watch this, right? Fair use. So I'm gonna mute it because I don't want to get us copyright, right? So put an end to all of the hating, right? So this post says, "Wow, can't believe this young positive man passed away yesterday. The hood was supposed to protect guys like this. R.I.P. LGP Quad. Like, now, LGP Quad. I wonder how old this brother was.
Put an age.
He was born in 99. So, what was he?
26, 27.
Yeah. 26. Young brother, 26 years old. He died on May 11th, 5 days ago. Right? So this brother right here, man, like, was really, really, something special. You know what I mean? Like, bro had a beautiful presence in the city. And like I said, I've been following the brother for quite some time, man. And like, when you really just think about it, like, damn, these niggas, like, I just murdered, bro. Like, for what? Bro was positive.
You breaking up a little bit, bro.
Let's see. Chat, am I breaking up? Right. So let's bro rapping about the curses, bro. Like, and niggas just killed him, bro. Just murdered the brother. Again, this is how we know that we're in times. Yahawashi said that the love of many should wax cold because iniquity shall abound. Right? Meaning niggas are getting more and more and more and more sinful. Right? Sin is like a cut. You get you cut, you fall. Remember, you're a kid, you fall, you scrape your knee up, you get a cut, right? If you don't clean that cut, right? If you don't put peroxide, right? You don't put ointment, you don't put Neosporin, you don't put a Band-Aid over it or gauze over it, what's going to happen? That cut is going to get infected and it's going to pus, right? That's what iniquity is. So because niggas are just falling, right? This is say that a righteous man falls 7 times, but he gets back up again. Niggas, the Israelites, blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, right? Niggas fall, get up, and fall again, and just actually after the time they're like, man, okay, like niggas just fall every day. It's just like a goddamn life alert. Help me, I'm falling, I can't get up again. And now niggas are just on the ground, right? Knees all bruised up, cuts and scrapes, right? No healing ointments. Actually, there's a scripture that says that. No healing ointment. I think it's in Jeremiah.
Especially Judah, man.
Oh no, boom. I think it's 1:6. From the sole of the head of the foot, even to the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. Like, that's what we like. Come on, God, that's what we're talking about. So us as a community, right? We have not been healed, right? We've been destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Just destroyed as a people. And niggas, imagine you being a doctor and you're telling your patient, hey, I'm sorry to let you know that you have cancer. And they said, I don't got cancer. Look, sir, you have stage 4 lung cancer. No, I don't. Who are you to judge, doctor? And then they go back and they leave your doctor's office and they go and puff cigarettes. That's how I feel dealing with so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. I'm like, brothers and sisters, I love y'all, right? And I do this job because I love y'all and I want you guys to be healed, right? I'm a doctor, right? I've studied. I've studied the healing. I've studied in the best school of healing called the Tory, right? This Tory school of healing, right? That's where I got my medical degree at, right? And I went to school for all these years and I put in all this work to help my people, help my community, and to provide them with health care. But when I try to give these people who are clearly sick, who are clearly have broken arms, niggas are maimed, paralyzed, right? Just limbs falling off. Like, hey, let me bind that. Let me put a cast on that broken arm of yours. My arm ain't broke, brother. It's clear that your arm is broke. My arm ain't broke. Okay, brother, have a nice day. And the nigga go do some dumb shit, right? Falls on his arm, breaks it even more. Gets up and said, "My arm ain't broke." Like, bro, that's what we're dealing with when we're talking to the Israelites, talking to so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? Niggas don't want to be bound up. Right? They just allow their cuts to turn into putrefying sores. Right? Niggas, I don't want that ointment. What? They don't want it. But hey, you know, some of them are going to figure out what's going on. Right? Let's get more into the brother LGP Quad. Like, in the back of my mind, I used to think, "Will I die?" Like, and it's sad to say, and it's unfortunate that this brother lost his life to senselessness because niggas hate each other. Because so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have such a disdain for each other. But niggas want to be on the internet talking about gingers are black and they're invited to the cookout.
I got a precept.
Bring it out.
Right. Right, concerning the last days. This is 2 Timothy. I'm gonna read it in the NLT. All right, 2 Timothy chapter 3 from the top. It says, "You should know this, Timothy, that in the last days there will be difficult times. For people will love only themselves and their money. They will be boastful and proud, scoffing at God, disobedient to their parents, and ungrateful." Hey, and listen, a lot of our parents, they warned us of this, right? Even to this day, right? I mean, a lot of us, a lot of our parents, they're going to let us know, like, look, you want to go on them streets, you want to live like this is going to happen, right? Mm-hmm. You want to lead these lives, this was going to happen, right? They might not be teaching you the laws of God, but they telling you, right? They warning you, right? What comes with certain lifestyles, nevertheless, right? So it says, and ungrateful, they will consider nothing sacred, right? Here's a young man that even in the world, right? A lot of people, they don't want to agree with the Israelites, but a lot of the world, they thought this brother to be an upstanding brother, doing a good thing. And even then, the world still hated him. They don't even consider that sacred, right?
Great point. It
says they will be unloving and unforgiving. They will slander and have no self-control. They will be cruel and hate what is good. They will betray their friends, be reckless, be puffed up with pride, and love pleasure rather than God.
That reckless, that's that crash out spirit.
That YN.
That YN crash out spirit.
They will act religious, like a lot of our people. They'll
Philly.
act religious.
Yeah, Philly with these damn Muslims.
These Muslims. Only on Ramadan and only during the day on Ramadan. Right? It says they will act religious, but they will reject the power that could make them godly. Stay away from people like that. They are the kind who work their way into people's homes and win the confidence of vulnerable women who are burdened with guilt of sin and controlled by various desires. Right? But this is the last days. Right?
These are indeed the last days, family. Right? So, rest in peace to the brother LGP Quad, man. I know the brother wasn't in the truth. I pray the Most High God have mercy on that brother. Because that brother, man.
Yo, Ariella, that last clip you just played to him, when he was spitting, he said something like, "I'm not sure if I'm gonna live or die."
God.
Yeah, it's crazy. Look, I got this precept right here. It's Deuteronomy 28, one of the curses. 28 and 66. I'm reading the NLT though. It's Deuteronomy 28 and 66 in the NLT. Your life will consistently hang in the balance, right? We see this with our people all the time. Like, they don't know if it's the day or tomorrow. You had me say like it's a blessing to live over 25. Like, that's crazy. You will live night and day in fear, unsure if you will survive. Like we going against animals or something. Like, this literally in our communities, and we don't know if we're going to survive. Right? 67. In morning you will say, if only it were night, and in the evening you will say, if only it were morning. For you will be terrified by the awful horrors you see around you in our community. Right? These awful horrors. Like, you don't know if you're going to live today or tomorrow. This why when we, walk away from each other, we be like, yo, bro, be safe out there, man. And man, just stay safe. Keep yourself well.
Because you don't know, listen, you have no clue whether a nigga gonna put a couple holes.
Shit. Or like Mike Epps says, when the cops pull you over, niggas is anxious. You ain't even do nothing. Yeah, well, what you do, daddy? Nothing. The cops pulling you. You see what I'm saying? Like, we got fear. This is how you know we're the Israelites, man. What people group has fear over them of life, right? At that magnitude.
Yeah, no, listen, Esau is at ease. So that's what we read in Zechariah 1 and 15. Like, the Most High God is the sword is pleased with the heathen who are at ease. Esau's at ease, bro. Esau is sitting pretty, right? Cooling, chilling, having a grand old time, right? I met with an Edomite, these Edomites the other day. They was talking about, they wanted to purchase the Tesla solar roof and get the Tesla solar and all this stuff. Like, like, I'm saving money on that's why, whatever. So you mean tell me you don't want to save money? Okay. So Esau, you got it like that. All right, cool, bro. It's all good. Like, Esau is chilling like a villain. He is a villain. Esau's chilling and is a villain, right?
Chief.
At the chief villain at ease. This imagine, bro. Just imagine. You're a defense contractor here in the U.S., right? You're the CEO of Lockheed Martin or Raytheon, and your fourth quarter projections. Oh, everything's up. You just bought a new yacht. You just bought this, that, and third. You sleeping pretty at night. knowing that what you created is literally murdering children. They're at ease. They have a good old time, bro. They don't care, right? But meanwhile, on the flip opposite, right? We just gave an example about the basis of human beings, right? The Edomites, the residue of the Eden. But on the flip side, you have the children of Jacob, the children of Israel, right? Who the Most High God set up to be above all nations. We're at the bottom, and we're in doubt of our life day and night. Parents have to have conversations with their children, right? About, hey, if you encounter the police, XYZ. You got the brother who just his son got unalived, right? Mm-hmm. And that brother stood on business, and you know what I mean, took one of theirs. I ain't too mad at bro. You know what I mean? Who gonna rouse Judah? Judah gotta get roused up, man. Right. Judah, wake up. Smell the coffee. Understand that this is not the time to be peeking, inviting the ginger white people to the goddamn cookout, right? This is not the time for that, bro. Like, this is the time for us to realize that it's us against the world, right? There's a brother, man. This is another brother, right? This is another brother. You gotta what's the face?
That gotta be a shirt.
What gotta be a shirt?
Us against the world.
Yeah, right. This brother right here, man. This brother be cooking, bro.
Racist and make them pop.
Bro, this brother right here got a decent head on his shoulder. Watch this.
A pig is a.
His shirt says saint.
Most racist and make them police. You gotta go to school longer to be a barber than you gotta be a cop. This is an ACAB podcast. I don't care if you're a black cop. A pig is a pig, nigga. A pig is a pig. Just like we say black capitalism ain't gonna change. Well, black cops ain't gonna change nothing either. Because if that cop hood stems out of the system of slave catching, it ain't nothing you can do to help me. The police are attack dogs for the system of white supremacy. And even allies are going to side with the police because that's their buffer between us and them. They fear black unity. They fear the day that we view them as they are, as an enemy. They fear that day. So they'll massage you. They'll massage your ego. They'll massage you with symbolic victories. But they're going to side with the cops. Because no matter how liberal of a white person is, no matter how much of an ally they are, they catch your ass in the neighborhood. Well, I don't have the heart, the gumption, or don't want to ruin my reputation to confront them and ask them why they're here. So who can I call? The police. That's their first line of defense to protect their image, to protect the so-called allyship, but they'll call the fucking police on you in a heartbeat. And they can do it anonymously. Racist person walk up on you trying to start smoke with you. If you buck up on them, what's the first thing they're going to do?
Call the police.
They're going to call the police. That's their first line of defense. And they are allowed to kill us with impunity. With immunity. And you can get in a fucking microphone and a pop and have forgiveness. Them days got to be over. Ronnie Hinton, he got his forgiveness. He got his forgiveness in blood. And you see how pissed off they is? They want to kill that man. They want to kill him. And if it wasn't as high profile of a case as it is, they would have been killed him.
Sure.
Because they're clan members. We already know that the gangs, we know that California police system in general is comprised of cop gangs. Mm-hmm. We know that the overwhelming majority of police in the Midwest have ties to neo-Nazi and white supremacist hate groups, as well as in the South. If you view the police as anything outside of the Klan or as a neo-Nazi or white supremacist hate group, then you don't know what the fuck the police are. Because if they can be approached by a white man with an AR, pointing at them and flee, no fear for their life. No, the idea here is to preserve his life, right? No matter what he's doing or what he's going through, they see you, shoot to kill. Whether you're doing something wrong or not, that's a reality all of us have to face all the time.
It's curses, man. Like, bro, like this nigga be cooking. There's another one he posted earlier today, right? This one right here. Oh man, this was. I posted this the other day on my today on my story. I said, listen, protect this brother at all costs, man. Protect this brother right here at all costs.
It's easy to be an ally when you know that the game is rigged in your favor. It's easy. You don't have to lose. Got a couple black friends I look cool on the internet. No, these lapdog ass niggas is tail wagging, ready for a white person to give them some fucking approval. Yeah, come on over. You're invited to the cookout. Come on over. Yeah, gingers are actually black people. Come on over. You fucking lapdog ass niggas. Tail wagging, tongue out. Ready for some fucking white approval. You niggas make me sick, man. You niggas make me sick, bro. You niggas lost your fucking mind. Then go backwards trying to kiss white folks' ass. Every day. I'm not arguing no goddamn racist. I already know you racist. I don't need to change your mind. I need to change my actions. Niggas just worry about being cool. Fuck that cool shit. Get on code. You out here trying to be cool. You out here kumbaya ass shit. Everybody needs to just, can we all just get along? And Rodney can't get his ass whooped in the ass. Can we get along? Them days over, man. Don't pack that shit up.
Listen, this bro.
Kendrick said they just wanted kumbaya. Nah.
Listen. What's all the kumbaya? You know what I mean? They want a hand join the hand, but just though the hand join the hand, the wicked will not go unpunished. Right? The nigga say, yo, you niggas make me sick, bro. So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, y'all make me sick to my stomach. At how dense some of y'all are. Again, my wife is always on TikTok, so I've been knowing about the trends and whatnot. And brother talked about the whole gingers are black. Bro, no, they're not. Stop inviting these people to the. I'm sick of it, bro. But niggas want to invite white people to the cookout, right? But niggas want to kill niggas. We didn't get a chance to talk about Tory yet, right? Man who stabbed. I forgot who sent the man who stabbed Tory Lanez. Watch this. Santino Casio, right? A brother, right? Northern Kingdom brother, right? An Ithaca, right? Stabbed him 14 times. Already serving a life sentence. Tory ain't had no beef. Tory was, you know what I mean, doing this thing, recording music, and recording some fire music at that, right? Obviously, Tory's not a law keeper or anything like that, right? I understand that. So this happened. This is the judgment of the Lord. I get that, right? But it just goes to show how sad it is, bro. Like that our own, again, the love of men shall wax cold, right? I forgot who sent it to me. Someone sent me, bro, Megan Thee Stallion fans. And,
oh my gosh.
They made a GoFundMe for this nigga.
Shit's fucking
For the boy that stabbed him?
Yes.
Yeah.
For the nigga that stabbed Tory, Megan Thee Stallion's fans started a GoFundMe for this nigga.
And allegedly he raped a little girl. That's why he's in prison.
Give us Barabbas. These are the same people.
I had a precept.
Bring it out, man.
Right? Because how wicked we are, we're sick, right? Like you said, we're sick as hell, right? This is shit that make us, you know, why we say shit like we sick of niggas, right? Part of my language. But it's like, the precept brought out earlier, you know, can they be cured, right? This is Jeremiah chapter 30. I want to start at verse 12. For thus saith the Lord, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. All right, this what I mean. That shit is sick as hell. How our people are, man. There is, and at the same time, like you said, they want to invite people to cookout. All right, invite the heathen to the cookout. Be lovely and friendly with the heathen. All right, but what about the heathen? It says, verse 13 says, there is none that plead thy cause.
None.
There's none that plead our cause. Right? This shit we're going through on a regular. Right? There's none that plead our cause. It says that thou mayest be bound up, right? That thou hast no healing medicines. All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not. Right? We're going out our way to make excuses to invite them to the cookout, right? To be with us, right? We've been fighting for integration. Just going out of our way.
Niggas been fighting for a piece of the pie instead of making their own goddamn pie.
Right? For all of this, man. For all of this, look what it says. For I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. Like you said, you got a brother, they make a GoFundMe for a brother, another brother, who arguably, right, like I said, Tory Lanez crimes are still at this point allegedly, because there's no substantial proof that he did what they're saying he did, right? But here you got, a man convicted of so-called, raping a minor, right, female, doing life, right, and they're making a GoFundMe for him because he killed Tory. Again, who allegedly shot Megan. No evidence. Right? It says, verse 15, why criest thou for thine affliction? And this is like what the brother was saying in the video. Like, all this stuff we're doing, right? Trying to be hand to hand with these people, pleading to these people, right? Seeking the peace of these people, right? We're doing these things as cries for our affliction, right? And here the Lord is saying, like, why are you crying? Right? You doing it to yourself, right? Why cry for thy affliction? Right? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thy iniquity, because thy sins were increased. I have done these things unto you. Again, this is self-inflicted wounds. Prime example, Tory and another Israelite. That's self-inflicted wounds. We're killing each other. And then we're praising, right, the one who seemingly has the most iniquity over the other. We're just adding sin, and we're loving iniquity at the highest level amongst each other. But then we want to cry when bad things happen to us.
It's insane, man. And listen, no, Tory's no saint. He is a saint, but he's no saint, right? No, right. He's a saint because he's an Israelite, right? But the brother raps about effing other brothers, bees, and all types of stuff. Like, I get it, but like so this is the judgment of the Lord. Now, for some reason, my computer just like freaked out. And it didn't even restart, but the joint started tripping. So let me looking at this guy's rap sheet right here, right? It says Casio, his name is Santino Casio. Rap sheet is a mile long and dates back to 2004. God. And when he was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole for second-degree murder, first-degree attempted murder, personal use of a dangerous or deadly weapon and inflict great bodily harm injury per the CDR spokesperson. So he murdered someone. He's a murderer.
Look at his neck.
Is that? Yeah, this nigga is he's a piece of shit. Watch. Let me see if I'm gonna go find me. Santino Casio, Megan Thee Stallion fans donating to Tory Lanez stabbing suspect? Question mark. Like, Megan Thee Stallion fans set up a fundraiser for the stabber. It says, let's see if I can find it, John. They say like it's a question. It was on Hot 97.
Was it on the Shade Room? Hold on.
I think it was on the Shade Room. The Shade. I don't follow this nonsense.
I think it's on one of them. Maybe World Star.
Oh, we got the priest here. Shalawam, you're on, but you're not on. So damn, these niggas post so goddamn much a day. It's insane.
Yeah, that shit's crazy.
Oh, it might be on Say Cheese. Let's see, Say Cheese.
Yeah, that might be.
I don't know which one is which. Is this the right Say Cheese? I don't know. But yeah, listen, man, it's insane that, and you know it's all females. These fans who create this GoFundMe, it's all females. I want to use the B word, but I'll refrain. Yeah, I can't find it, but you know, bro, like it's clear we're at the time of the end, man. Iniquity is abounding. The hearts of men are waxing cold, right? You got the bodyguard of Kelsey, right? The I don't know if they're still friends. The friend of Megan, right? And he's coming out saying that, oh yeah, it was her. She did it. So now
that's on World Star. I just sent you the link.
Okay, you texted to me?
Yeah, for that, the bodyguard. It's on IG. I just sent it to you.
Oh, okay, you sent it from the Twitch page. All right, well, bro, these niggas make me sick, bro.
Yeah, I was just looking at the his lawyer, the female lawyer, Tory Lanez lawyer. She said that his DNA wasn't even on the pistol.
Yeah, DNA was on the pistol, and apparently the DNA of the other suspects was not taken. What sense does that make?
Right.
Yeah. The driver, the shorty, Megan.
Like,
Sounds like
a cover up. It sounds like Rock Nation has something to do with it. That's what I'm just keeping it, but that's what it sounds like, right? So boom, Tory Lanez lawyer says Kelsey Harris' bodyguard claims he heard her admit to shooting, right?
Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Miss Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial.
What's this guy's name?
She was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was witness
Perfect
to the
timing, bro.
conversation Miss Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times. Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun. This statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw 2 women fighting, 2 men break up the fight, 1 man grabbed the other one's arm. Gunshots came from the passenger side. Passenger side is where Miss Harris was sitting. This further iterates that Mr. Peterson did not shoot Miss Pete, did not shoot at Miss Pete, or did not assault Miss Pete. It's just another irregularity in a list of irregularities in this case. For example, there were 3 potential suspects in the car that night, and yet the only DNA sample was taken of Mr. Peterson.
Makes no sense.
Peterson, even though unknown DNA was found on the gun. Why wasn't Miss Harris's DNA taken? Or was it taken and the information simply never given to the defense? Why wasn't the driver of the car, Mr. Jaquan Smith's DNA taken? Or was it taken and again, simply not given to the defense?
So, listen, that right.
You got a precept to that too.
Can't bring it out.
Right? This is Isaiah, right? More reason why this place got to fall. And a lot of Israelites got to fall with it because a lot of Israelites, right, are on the side of this place, right? At the end of the day, they cry about the things that happen to us, but a lot of our people fight for America to stay standing at the same time, right? Couldn't imagine living without America. But this is Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people. That right, but that's the point, right? This is, we can go through all the woes, right? There's many woes that are called for Babylon, right? Called for this place, right? But this one right here is one of the biggest problems with this place: unrighteous decrees. From the beginning, when we got here, we were decreed to be 3/5 of them, 2/5 of what? 3/5 of a man.
3/5, yeah.
See what I'm saying? We were cattle, and at the end of the day, no matter what their law changes, right? What they say, we're still that to them,
yeah.
Right? And this is why they get away with these unrighteous decrees. This is why, right in our face, they can say, just throw them in jail, right? We'll take the word, for these people and throw them. But again, a lot of these decrees are motivated by other, wicked shit behind closed doors.
Yeah, man. Shit is sad, but here we are, right? We guys, we are not. Things are not going to get better, right? It says iniquity shall abound, right? Let's look at what the word abound means, right? Abound. Exist in large numbers or amounts. Be plentiful, be abundant, be numerous, proliferate. Something proliferates, it grows. Iniquity shall abound. The hearts of men shall wax cold. Meaning, niggas gonna get worse and worse and worse, right? As niggas get worse and worse and worse, iniquity abounds. And here we have this brother who had this, I think Issachar, right? Either Issachar or Zebulonite brother, long ass rap sheet, a convicted murderer. This nigga stabs up the brother 14 times. And you got these silly broads who are raising funds for that POS, piece of excrement. But listen, that's our people, man. That is our people. So,
hey, that tracks too. These are the same people that said, "Give us Barabbas" when they was crucifying Christ. So it tracks. We are those people. So,
yep.
none of this surprises.
And we're not comparing Tory to
by any means
at all, but
by any means,
the brother is. It's seemingly that the brother is innocent of what he's been accused of, and now the brother had 2 collapsed lungs. All praise to the Most High, he's still alive. Right, got stabbed in the back of his head twice, chest, back, 14 times. Right, and you got these silly women who are just fanatics of Meg the Stallion that are raising funds for a convicted murderer. You cannot make this ish up. Now, I mean, there was some talk circulating around how that white lady who just got in trouble for calling that little black kid on the playground the N-word, right? You got a bunch of racists that raised all this money for her, right? When George Zimmerman murdered Trayvon Martin, right? They had all these GoFundMes for him, right? When Slovakia, all these racists, they do racist things and they get in trouble and all sorts of stuff. You got all these other racist white people that are raising money for them. I wonder if there's a GoFundMe for the brother whose son got unalived and he unalived the cop. I wonder if there's a GoFundMe for that.
Right. Right. Good point.
I wonder. I have no clue. I highly doubt it, but it is what it is, family. So again, it's abundantly clear that we are in the last days, right? It's sad. We see the brother LGP Quad got murdered, has his life snuffed out for what? And now the brother Tory Lanez, all praise to the Most High, he's still alive, right? He still has the opportunity to get right, and come into the knowledge of the truth and serve the Most High God. I mean, it's abundantly clear that we are indeed in these last days.
Yo, I got precept for people, that's that's like how you said, Tory Lane, he was in the world. Still did stuff like that, so he ain't had that hazard protection. For those that this what we gotta seek though. It's in Psalms, that Psalms 91, right? The secret place.
Mm-hmm.
It's Psalms 91, verse 1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abound in the shadow of the Almighty. Right. So this is what we gotta try to hope to be, right? We gotta try to hope to be in this grace. And like how bro said earlier though, like, look, even if we do lose our life, like, look, I'd rather lose my life for righteousness than for a block or just some like regular evil shit. Like, I'd rather be on the side of right than on the side of left.
That's right. But yeah, man, we about to wrap up. All praise to the Most High.
Right. I just want to give to the YNs, man. Right. It ain't no honor and glory, right? Dying, trying to spend for your ops on somebody that look just like you, right? You killing somebody that's your own people, right? And you continuing this cycle. Y'all just doing it to each other, man. Like, ain't no honor in that, right? It really ain't no. When you really think about it, and you die, you want to say, "I want to die." If I die, I want to go out because, I wanted to take up a mantle of some beef that started years, decades beyond, before me, that I really don't even know nothing about, right? And we just senselessly spinning on each other to try to keep this score up. There's no honor in there. There's no honor in it, right? Like I said, honor, is in, if you're going to lose your life, it's for something that's good, like bro said, right?
God, all praise to the Most High. So we about to wrap up in a bit, but just wanted to do a couple quick little plugs before we wrap up. So again, all right, family, help the sister Masala out, man. The sister, she has 2 young children, right? She's been, she's gone through a lot dealing with who, and that POS, that deadbeat, has not sent a single dime for his children since February the 26th. So please help the sister donate to her GoFundMe. Link should be in the description of the video. Dropping a fresh link right here as well. Okay. Also, if you are a brother and you're looking to do the work of the Lord, right, fill out this form, right? Fill out this form to if you're interested in joining the House of Bread and laboring with us. Right, we are wrapping up our prospect process, and we'll be in touch with brothers very, very soon. So again, make sure you fill out this form. Link is in the chat as well. Right, and if you are a sister, right, and you want a body to be part of, right, you can join House of Bread, the House of Bread Sisterhood, and fill out this link, right, personally in the chat, right, and we'll get in contact with you as soon as we get everything up and running for that, man. Brothers, got anything else?
No. Great class.
No praise to the Most High. Oh yeah, tap in with perpetualwar.shop, man. All right, let's get with us, right? Perpetualwar.shop. I mean, see the brother YAHAWAH, he got that tan Hebrew department Isaiah 47 joint. I mean, we got some heat on here, man. Got some flavors. So tap in with us, family. But with that, I want to give all praises, all glory, and all honor to the Most High God, whose name is Yahawah. Of course, I do so in the name of Of course, I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Mashiach Yahawashi, who the world ended with Jesus Christ. Pray, brothers and sisters, will edify until next time. Shalawam and Mawaf, blah blah blah.
Shalawam, Yasharahla.
Shalawam.